Alright, the 2-speed for this project is now finally finished. I definitely took my time with this one. I made it look nice and pretty. I think this is the best looking one that I've made so far. I definitely took my time with this one and made sure all the welds look nice and pretty. So now I use needle bearings for this one. Normally I use bushings for these, but because of the RPM that the engine can get up to, I didn't think that bushings was going to survive, so I use needle bearings for these. And they're a little noisy. A little, I don't know, they're not terrible. Hopefully they'll quiet down once I add grease to them, but shouldn't be that big of an issue. We still need to add the key for the center clutch dog, but this thing is pretty much finished. So now we can start working on adding the jack shaft to the go-kart. Alright, so I'm scratching my head right now trying to figure out how in the world I'm going to make this fit in such a small confinement. Now, I got to redo the frame a little bit because right now these 2 pieces of 1-inch tubing I have connecting the back to the front, this one is really in the way of the belt and the CTV, so I'm going to got to redo the frame a little bit and move the back end. The front end is fine, the width is fine on the front. The back, I got to extend it for like 3 or 4 inches. That'll make it to where the bearings are closer to the tires, which is better, and it'll make it to where this is out of the way of the CTV and I can lower the jack shaft 3 or 4 inches. Alright, so just finished bending up these. These fit right here. So therefore we can mount the jack shaft on top of here. So next step is we need to cut out some plates to weld on top of here, drill some holes in them, so therefore we can mount the bearings on top of here. Now, I put this giant sprocket on here, and I made sure there was clearance enough for this giant sprocket because I kind of want to put bigger tires on this thing, because most yard carts have bigger tires in the back than they do the front. So I made room for a bigger sprocket on here, so if we do put bigger tires on this thing, we can get proper gearing for those bigger tires. Alright, so I think I welded these plates on here a little too far forward because the belt is at its proper tension, almost, and the engine's a little sideways, and it's not really level on the frame. So everything needs to be moved back about 3/4 of an inch. So now I originally cut slots in these plates to be able to move the jack shaft back and forth, and the original idea on that was to be able to tension the chains on here, but I didn't realize at the time that that's also going to affect the tension of the belt. So I think how we're going to tension the chains is by simply just putting washers underneath the bearings to lift them up. And then to tension the belt, we can either, adjust this. This is adjustable to tension the belt, or we can also move the bearings back and forth. Now, I was thinking about what I said earlier about bigger tires, and I found these behind the shed. These are actually off of the what are they off of? These are actually off of the old Mini Green ATV project that I sold 2 years ago over at Pate's Swap Meet. This one's flat. Now what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to change the tires on here, because Go Power Sports has the same size tires as these, but cleat, meaning this tread pattern. So I'm probably going to ask Go Power Sports to send us out some new tires for this, but we're going to use the same rims and everything. So it's going to be tires this size using this tread pattern. So I think bigger tires on this thing on the back just makes more sense, gives us more traction, makes this thing look more like a yard cart. Plus, we can air them down a little bit, make it feel like we have at least some type of suspension on here. So now I was reading comments of the part 1 of this project, and you guys had some good suggestions as to how I can mount the engine to where I don't have to modify the expansion chamber on this thing. Because I agree, I'd rather not modify it if I don't have to. I don't want to mess with the tune of this engine, and I don't want to make this thing run like crap. You guys were saying I could tilt it back, I could do this, I could do that. So I'm going to try a couple of those things just to try and make it so I don't have to modify the expansion chamber. And you guys were also saying that why in the world am I putting the engine behind the rear axle? This thing's going to do wheelies, it's not going to have any traction in the front, and my answer to that is, who doesn't want to do wheelies? I think this thing would be pretty awesome if it can do wheelies. If we have to put weights in the front to get traction in the front, then we have to put weights in the front. But I kind of want to see this thing do some wheelies. I want a project that can do wheelies. I know I promised the Ninja will do wheelies, and that thing definitely can't, so I want to make this thing do wheelies. So you guys were also saying that the 2-speed on here is pretty much pointless because of the CTV, because of the engine, and how lightweight this frame is. I'm adding the 2-speed anyway because why not? I think it's pretty cool, and it's, you know, I already built it, it's already on here. So I guess that's going to be it for this video of this project. I'm going to take a little break from this thing and get back to working on the CBR1000 because the sprockets I ordered for that thing finally got here. Let's get back to working on the thing, change the gearing, and see if we can get it to drive a whole lot faster. And the next video of this project is installing the engine on the frame, doing the seat, and then doing some more stuff to the frame, figuring out where we're going to put our feet, and all that stuff. But that's going to have to be for next video of this project. For now, I got to end this video here. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see ya in the next video. Why is the ground clamp smoking? Oh, that's hot. That's hot. Why is the ground clamp smoking? Ooh, that's hot. Well, I'm not really sure what's happening with this, but let's just keep welding, I guess. That's why I chose needle bearings instead of bushings. These things are loud. These things are loud. It's like the cartoons when people pull out a sword. Yeah. These things definitely have a ring to them. Man. Hopefully it's not going to be that noisy when I'm changing gears. Hopefully. I don't know. So fabricating this frame this way is all based on the assumption that this floor is flat, which I highly doubt it is, but I don't really have any better option for fixtures and all that stuff. Just working with what I have right now. Dang it. That didn't work.